Back at it again, and we've got to talk about woke Mayor Brandon Johnson of Chirac. The mayor of Chirac, aka Chicago, formerly known as Chicago, okay? Because, man, these Democrat policies, you just can't make this stuff up. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And let's dive in.
The campaign promise fulfilled. Mayor Brandon Johnson is ending the city's use of the controversial gunfire surveillance system known as ShotSpotter. The city's contract with the company behind ShotSpotter expires on Friday, and the police will stop using the technology September 22nd, about a month after the Democratic National Convention. A city statement said, "Moving forward, Chicago will deploy its resources on the most effective strategies and tactics proven to accelerate the current downward trend in violent crime." For years, grassroots organizations targeted ShotSpotter. The campaign.
Yeah. Woke Mayor Brandon Johnson getting rid of the ShotSpotter system that has been implemented in Chicago. And if you aren't familiar with the ShotSpotter, there's been clips of it that have been posted online here or there. It's basically a system that is like a giant microphone, okay? And it listens for gunshots. And when a gunshot is detected, it automatically alerts the police, and the police can respond to that area to ensure that, nothing crazy is happening and people are safe, of course. Because in a lot of these areas where you have these shot spotters, you have a lot of black folks who more or less are used to gunshots and don't really call the police, or just don't want to snitch, so they don't call the police. So having a shot spotter actually helps. But according to Mayor Brandon Johnson, it's racist. It's against people of color to have shot spotters in the city of Chicago.
Chicago is pulling the plug on ShotSpotter. It's the controversial technology that is supposed to alert police to gunfire.
Nate Rogers reports that decision may be almost as controversial as the program itself.
Even on the campaign trail, Mayor Brandon Johnson said that he would remove ShotSpotter from the city's budget. Critics say that the service is unreliable and leads to unconstitutional policing. Others, including police officers, say that it's a reliable resource, especially in underserved communities where the code of silence still maintains.
35 cities have already said this technology is unreliable.
In September, right after the DNC in Chicago, ShotSpotter will end. The technology alerts police in real time to locations where gunshots were fired.
I feel it is very disrespectful of the mayor to make a decision like this without even getting the input of the community.
In place since 2018, ShotSpotter cost Chicagoans about $8 million annually. City council members speaking in Inglewood today outraged by the mayor's decision not to renew the contract, saying with the department down more than 2,000 officers, many residents are not calling police.
We're here to tell the mayor that he's wrong, that he needs to change his decision and listen to the community.
Black and brown communities hear gunshots all the time. There are some communities are immune to it. So therefore, sometimes people just don't call the police. ShotSpotter saves lives. Why? Because the police will still respond to that call.
On the other side, several cities have rejected ShotSpotter because of inaccuracies and red flags.
What the Inspector General's report found is that the police enter every single situation with a ShotSpotter report, guns blazing, because they think that there's shots being fired in that moment. And in the case of Adam Toledo, what occurred is it led to that little boy, that 13-year-old boy, being shot and killed.
In a statement, the mayor's...
So because of a few one-off situations, you get rid of the whole thing, you throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like that just doesn't make sense to me. Like I guarantee you a lot of these folks who are speaking out against the ShotSpotter, like this gentleman here, I have no clue who he is, but I'd be willing to bet that they don't live in the hood. They don't live in the areas that are most affected by the ShotSpotter. They don't live in these areas that hear these gunshots all the time, that have the shot spotters, and where the police actually come to these areas and are alerted. These folks don't live in the hood. They live far, far away. They think they know what's good for the hood. But come on now. That's just absolutely ridiculous. The guy that spoke before this, he actually spoke some truth. People in the hood kind of get numb to gunshots. I used to live in the hood myself. Okay? Not Chirac, of course. But I do recall hearing gunshots. We don't panic. Because at a certain point, I guess you do kind of get used to the gunshots. Now, obviously, the closer they are, the more like you do certain things. Like if they're really, really close, of course, you get down on the ground. Of course, like you drop. No questions asked. Hey, yo, what's that? No. You're not asking questions. As soon as you hear them things go off and they're close, which you know when the gunshots are close, you hit the ground. You hit the floor. But if they're like off in the distance somewhere, like you might pause for a half a second just to listen, just to make sure they aren't getting closer. But you carry on. You carry on, right? And so having a shot spotter is actually beneficial. This is coming from someone who's actually heard gunshots and not responded to them. Like, it baffles me how these people who have never lived in the hood speak about these types of situations like, oh yeah, shot spotter is racist because of like these one-off situations that happen because the cops came in guns blazing, as they should, because they heard gunshots or were alerted to gunshots, and somebody happens to be pine boxed. Okay, is it tragic? Sure, yeah, absolutely. But I'm trying to choose my words carefully here because some people might try to twist my words. Nothing is perfect, right? Nothing is perfect. So if there's a mistake or two, but a whole lot more lives are saved, if you got 20 lives that are saved and 2 that, there was a mistake, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure out the math there. Now, I'm not saying the 2 aren't tragic. Of course they are. But do you get rid of the whole system because of 2? And so now you sacrifice 20 because of 2. I don't know. That just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway.
Boy being shot and killed.
In a statement, the mayor's office saying in part, quote, law enforcement and community safety stakeholders will assess tools and programs that effectively increase both safety and trust. And
bro. Oh my goodness. What is up with this WEF stakeholders word? Have y'all noticed that? Stakeholders. Like they've started to change the wording on a lot of this stuff. Stakeholders. I don't know if y'all have caught that, but I've been paying attention to it, and it's weird. It's weird. Stakeholders.
Will assess tools and programs that effectively increase both safety and trust and issue recommendations to that effect. Former top cop Gary McCarthy also not a fan of the decision.
I think it's a bad decision as far as catching bad guys and preventing somebody else from getting shot.
Now, we must add, in the case of Adam Toledo, a gun was found in his possession. Also, the police board ordered an officer involved to be disciplined. And now the last day for ShotSpotter is September 22nd. Until then, aldermen in Inglewood today telling us that they will work to win majority city council support to overturn the mayor's plans. That is the latest here outside Chicago Police Headquarters. I'm Nate Rogers.
No. Let Mayor Brandon Johnson fall flat on his face. Okay? Let him fall flat on his face. Because I think that's the only way that people are truly going to learn a lesson. Because as much as the people of Chicago have seen this stuff, they still voted for it. They still voted for it, right? So at a certain point, now granted, there are a lot more people waking up now, which is a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing. And that could lead to a whole separate conversation, because I'll save that conversation for another day, because there's a whole nother side of all of this that I can get into, but it'd take a whole lot of explaining and diving deep into. So once again, the people of Chicago voted for this. So let them have what they voted for. Let them have it. You can see the results of the policies that you voted for. it's only going to wake up more eyes at the end of the day. Sometimes you got to fall in order to learn a lesson. You got to fall. Sometimes you got to fall hard and hit rock bottom to learn a lesson. Okay. And also the whole thing about this entire situation, and I'm sure you guys have heard it, is that Mayor Brandon Johnson, the contract ends here very soon. Okay. And he said he's not renewing it. The contract ends very, very soon, like within like the next month or so. I can't remember the exact day. But Mayor Brandon Johnson is going to extend it temporarily until after the DNC, because the DNC is in Chicago. He's going to extend it until a month after the DNC. How convenient is that? How convenient. Like, it could not be more obvious what's going on here. So I want to ensure that the people of the DNC or at the DNC are safe. But after they leave, hey, forget y'all. You know, it's the same thing Gavin Newsom did in California. It's the same thing. When G came to California and all of the homelessness was cleaned up off the streets were squeaky clean. He had fences lining the roads trying to protect G. But he can't protect his own people? Come on now. Come on. BS. But there's a bright side to this entire situation in Chicago with woke Mayor Brandon Johnson. Check it out.
On Tuesday, Mayor Brandon Johnson said he would give the technology company a 6-month extension, but end the deal after the Democratic National Convention.
Now, late today, multiple sources tell NBC5 ShotSpotter has rejected the city's offer with that extension. So where does it all stand? Let's go.
Allegedly, ShotSpotter has rejected the offer. Good for you, ShotSpotter. Good for you. Great job. And I hope that's true. I hope that it is true, because that is just absolutely ridiculous. You extend it until right after the DNC and then you get rid of it completely? Nah. You're not about to use me as some type of pawn. Kick rocks. Kick rocks. We'll come get our equipment over the next couple of months and we'll be out of town. We'll be out. Man, don't you love it? Don't you love to hear it? Now, like I said, that could be bad information, but I hope it is correct information. I hope it is correct. Live with the policies that you have pushed. Don't try to cover it up because the DNC is coming down, which I think they would have had problems either way, just because of how things are going. And I've shown you guys several videos out of Chicago of people being extremely upset, saying that they aren't going to talk to Democrats anymore, that they're willing to talk to anybody and everybody, literally requesting Trump come to town. So I think they were going to have some issues either way, but now they're going to have a real problem. They're going to have a real problem, okay? Because not only that, but officers have quit the force. Obviously, right? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. Of course, officers are going to quit the force of Chicago, Chirac, right? So you're down on officers. You're down another tool that helped you keep the city safe with the ShotSpotter, and now you have angry citizens and criminals running all over the place. You've got criminals over here, angry citizens, law-abiding citizens that are extremely angry at you. Yeah, I think that's a recipe for disaster. Now, I hope nobody gets hurt, right? I hope nobody gets hurt. You don't wish that, because I've been there, right? I've seen some tragic things happen. But the reality of these policies is it's going to get somebody hurt. That's the reality. But who am I? I'm just the guy that makes videos on YouTube from time to time. Silly me. Don't listen to me. Y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment. Hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.